Started playing football in the second grade. Yeah, the second grade.
So you're about 7 years old?
Somewhere around that. I've always been really young for my age. I just turned 21 last week. So, but yeah, I've been playing football for a while, and I've been around football for a while because my grandfather was a head coach in North Carolina for 30-something years. And so it's always been a part of my life.
So part of it may have been just so much football and in that period of time you just felt you needed to step back.
I guess that could be a little bit of it. It's just it's just more of a. It wasn't just football. It was a culmination of a lot of different things that just kind of hit at once and it. But no, I love football. I love everything about it. I love the workouts. Maybe not at the time when I'm doing them, I don't. But I love workouts. I love practice. I just love the whole process of it all and everything that goes into being a good player and it's so I don't know if I would necessarily say I just got burnt out or anything, but because I really love football. So.
Did you find that a lot of guys who go through similar things through this process?
Somewhat. Everyone goes through something. Because it's not an easy process, but it's something that whenever you've got guys around like we do, it makes it a lot easier. And every football player right now is going through it. They're going through the struggle of just getting out of camp and all that. So it's that's also another comforting thing that you're not the only one that's going through something.
I don't mean to belabor the point of your time away, but what was the exact date when you walked away? When you came back?
It was, I don't know the exact time. I know it was the end of February, and it was right at the end of June is whenever I came back. It was right like maybe the last day of January or something like that, and then June. So it's whenever summer session 2 workout started.
Yeah. So was that first workout conditioning? Was that pretty?
It's always pretty tough, but I actually, I kind of made a decision while I was home to, keep my body, right, and I wanted to, I'd gained a good amount of weight after getting hurt and everything, and that's one thing that I thought even if I didn't want to go back to football, that I wanted to improve my body, just because whenever you get that big, you don't feel good all the time. It's not very fun, and so that was something that was a goal of mine, just no matter what happened. But it was tough, but I had worked and worked and worked and worked, and you appreciate working with all your brothers here whenever you're doing it on your own at home, because it's a whole lot easier to go, man, I don't want to do those last 3 hills. I don't want to do this. But, and I think in the long run it was good for me because it really showed, my mental strength. And, even though with everything that was going on, I could still, because, I was waking up in the morning and I was going and, I was cutting down trees in my grandfather's backyard, and yeah, so it was tough, but it wasn't, I wasn't, out there about to die or anything.
Speaking of your grandfather, you have a walking, talking football encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How much did you rely on him through this? How much did you sit down and talk to Coach Green?
Oh my goodness, I was over at his house about every day, because with him, he's getting a little older. He's got some pretty bad knees, so I would go over and work with him just because there were some things like outside, because he is a workhorse. He doesn't stop, and so I was like, well, why not let me do all this heavy stuff instead of you? So, but I was over there all the time anyways, but he was such a great resource to have, because he went through sort of a similar thing, and just with just like not like outside of football, and he would go and he would go watch me work out while we were doing stuff. He was kind of that motivator and that person that kept me going, and he kind of held me a little accountable, because there would be days, because I would wake up and I would take my little brother to school, and then I'd be like, oh man, that would be really nice to go back to bed. But and because here we're very structured, and if you have consequences if you don't do what you're supposed to do. And at home it was a little more on me, but he was also a person there that could really hold me accountable. And but he was great. He was definitely a person that really helped me.
Coach Sweeney compared DJ Reader's situation to yours. I don't know how close you are with DJ, but you reach out to him and try to provide some support with what he's going through.
Yeah, I mean, we came in at the same time. I mean, it's just everyone's situation is a little bit different, and so with him, I know that some people like to just kind of deal with things on their own. I know I do, but yeah, I've talked to him and everything, and I mean, like I said, everyone's situation is a little different. So.
Tony said last week that since you've come back, he has been a coach that you've really been close with. Can you speak to the chemistry you have with him, the relationship you've been with?
Oh man, yeah. I don't really know what kind of started it, but yeah, he's just been a coach that I've really been able to connect with, and it not really goof around with, but the people that you kind of hang on to whenever it gets, it's one of those days during camp where you're like, man, I do not want to be out here right now, and it's one of those things where he's a guy who would look at me and be like, all right, we got to go, and then and then in your head you're like, you know what, I got to do it for him. I got to do it for all my brothers out here, and so it's kind of like that. We like to joke around and everything, whenever we're not on the practice field. So yeah, he's definitely been a coach that I've kind of bonded with since I've come back.
What was the best piece of advice Coach Green gave you?
Oh my goodness, that I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint one particular thing, because he was just so much advice. I mean, because I was pretty lost in what I wanted to do, and he's just so much advice and one-on-one talks, and I don't really think I could pinpoint one exact thing. Yeah.
Was there an epiphany or a pivotal moment?
To be honest, I was kind of thinking about that whenever we were going through camp and everything. It's just kind of one day I just woke up and just kind of looked in the mirror, and I was like, man, what are you doing? I knew that, because I wasn't doing very well in school then. I was, obviously with, I talked with Coach Sweeney, and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to play football anymore. And so he just, kind of didn't give me a whole lot of football responsibility, and just said, and I started talking to different doctors and everything, and yeah, it was just, it's really was just one morning I kind of woke up and it's like, man, yeah, it's just what am I doing? And I kind of sat down and sat in my bed and was just like, just kind of really looked at everything and prayed over it a lot. And that's whenever, I was like, man, I need to talk to someone. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it that's kind of when and then that's whenever, I had talked to Coach Sweeney about, maybe me going and finding someone back home and really getting some help with that, and that's it's kind of towards the middle of February is whenever I really kind of just woke up one morning and knew that I needed to do something.
Is the desire of football sometimes difficult to find? I mean, it's not something you can fake, right? No, you have, your heart has to be into it. I mean, everything that we do is so, go, grind, and it's your heart has to be in it. And that's one thing that I really found out, during this process is it'll consume you if you don't absolutely 100% love it and just 100% committed to it.
The heaviest I weighed, this was in about February. I weighed about 365. Was I think my first doctor's appointment. When I got home, I was like 362 or something like that. Yeah, so I got pretty big.
Yeah, where are you now?
I'm sitting about 321 right now. So I've definitely come a long way, and put in a lot of hard work, to get that way. So.
Do you feel good about where you are in terms of how you fit into this team this year and your role?
Yeah, I do. To be honest, we haven't really changed a whole lot. So, I just kind of feel like I did at the start of last season. And I feel really good about it. I feel good about our team more than anything. I feel there's something special about this team in particular that I've kind of felt a little bit with past teams, but I don't know. And it's in our offensive line room right now. I mean, there's just so many good guys in there, and so many. I mean, there's so many hard workers, and I know with us, it's something that I've never really felt before, and I'm just so confident in all of our guys that especially our freshmen, even the guys that are going to redshirt, they're all, Noah and Zach. I mean, they're both of those guys. They're just so talented, and it feels a little bit different going into this season.
Let's go back to that day in the indoor practice facility.
Mm-hmm.
Brian goes out with a concussion, and Dodginelli lost a couple of snaps
Mm-hmm.
to have their points of finger at you.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind at that point?
So what I came back to do, it was really, kind of this is the opening in the door that I wanted, and I knew coming back that those guys had been here together the whole spring, just grinding it out, and I knew that I was going to have to come back and really, earn my spot, and I knew that was one opportunity that I was going to have, so I needed to make the best of it, and I've really learned as well with being gone to kind of not overthink things, because I did that a lot whenever but I've done that since high school, and but yeah, it's just go out there, a cool head, and give it everything I got.
Is that the day that you said, I'm back?
Yeah,
You felt
well,
like you were back?
yeah. I knew I was back whenever I was in here in the morning with Coach Batson. That's whenever I was like, man, I'm back. But no, whenever I was walking off the field, I just felt so positive, and just I was like, yeah, I made the right decision. I knew that this is what I wanted to do, and that's probably the day that I was just felt really confident, and I knew that I was back.
How'd you come with snapping the ball on shotgun? Does that come pretty naturally to you?
Yeah, I've actually been a center since I was in the second grade. So the position comes natural to me, and whenever I was home, I was out there snapping. I would have my little brother go out in the front yard with me, and I'd make him stand there and let me snap to him. So, but yeah, so that's something that it comes natural, I would say, or at least now it does.
All set?